we've obviously talked a lot about on this show what this would do. I talked about my trips down to El Salvador, covering what happens when abortion is fully criminalized. You start locking women up for having miscarriages. You start sentencing them to 30 years in prison for homicide. And don't think that's not coming. So there's a few things to talk about. A lot of people are like, well, maybe it's fine, like maybe nothing will happen, maybe the states will get stronger and this and that.
It's not fine. We're being ruled by it's minority rule, and they just are giving us absolutely no say.
Yeah, and here's Minority Leader Mitch McConnell in an interview with USA Today on whether an abortion ban could be possible, outright ban, if Roe v. Wade is overturned. And he said, if the leaked opinion became the final opinion, legislative bodies, not only at the state level, but at the federal level, certainly could legislate in that area, McConnell told USA Today when asked if a national abortion ban is, quote, worthy of debate. And if this were the final decision, that was the point, that it should be resolved one way or another in the legislative process. So yeah, it's possible.
Ugh. That's the most definitive, like that's him absolutely saying 1000% it will be banned. It will be done.
Oh yeah.
And like with 2 stolen seats.
Yes, absolutely. With these and back to the lying fucks. I mean, so a lot
stolen seats with illegitimate judges who perjured themselves in open court are going to rule that we can't. Also, I have in my small group of best friends who are actively trying to be parents, responsible parents, have had to have multiple miscarriages while trying to have a family, and then have to have a D&C, which is an abortion. And those things would be outlawed, or what you'd be prosecuted for. It's like that woman in Texas who was just like the last week.
Yeah. Oh no, bleed. Why don't you just bleed out? That's safe.
It's unreal how like these are not even like nobody is saying that these pregnancies could be carried to term, and you're still going to not allow a medical procedure that's like doesn't make
it's absolutely cruel, and cruelty obviously is the point. Otherwise, of course, we would have things like childcare. We would have things like paid maternity leave or paternity leave. We would have a country that gave a fuck about babies if this were at all about so-called babies. It's been, I want to stick with some of the right wingers and their responses, because it's been kind of interesting, because they're not like celebrating in the way that you would think. Some of the right wingers are in the Senate specifically are kind of quiet about it. And look, if you thought that your signature issue, the thing that like was the most, the thing that puts you in the seat that you're in, that was the most important, if you really understood, as I think a lot of them do, that all of those illegal fucks and alleged rapists who are on the conservative bench of the Supreme Court, if this plan that they've been hatching for decades, this has come to fruition. This is your moment, baby. Wow. Why don't you celebrate it? They're not. They're actually kind of quiet about it. And you've seen that in a couple ways. Fox News, for example, and other right-wing outlets are only focusing on the leak. Oh my God, who leaked it? What happened? Well, it seems like it might have been a conservative actually who leaked it to try and lock in Kavanaugh, Gorsuch, and Barrett's votes. And so there's that. But the other thing is they're not trying to really, because they know that Roe is incredibly popular, they're not rubbing it in people's faces. So these are some talking points that they're now releasing. This is within the Senate. The Senate Republicans are sharing these talking points, saying be compassionate, consensus building on abortion policy. While people have many different views on abortion policy, Americans are compassionate people who want to welcome every new baby into the world. No, we don't. We don't actually want to do that.
They don't
That's
do
the
anything.
Point.
You know, it costs $10,000 to have a baby, even with insurance. Like nothing about it is easy, and it's nothing about it is made to be welcoming or helpful or healthy or This country doesn't want us to have healthy kids.
1, we don't want to welcome every new baby. 2, we're not compassionate people. So yes, wrong on all that fun, but that's cute. Expose the Democrats for the extreme views they hold, the document says, arguing, quote, Joe Biden and Democrats have extreme and radical views on abortion that are outside of mainstream of most Americans. No,
correct. They do. No, Joe Biden's view of abortion is extreme because he thinks that it's like reasonable to be anti-abortion, and it's not fucking reasonable. That's extremist. To me, being centrist is extremist because most people don't care.
Yes.
Why are we in a theocracy all of a sudden? Why do I have to sit here and be ruled by your fucking Bible that is made up also? Why don't you just quote the damn Bible in this ruling or whatever?
Like, I mean, this is my thing too. I'm like, I would rather them just like wag the Bible at me because I'm like, oh, great, you're insane, you're a crazy religious person, rather than actually make. A lot of them are making all these like illegal arguments, like Alito's fucking legal argument. Fuck you, dude. That was a conservative Supreme Court that voted on Roe. All right. Now you're going to tell me that there's no legal precedent. It's not in the Constitution and yada, yada, yada. Stop using your like dumbass legal precedent. And again, the Ben Shapiro's of the world, the like sort of the wannabe conservative intellectuals do the same thing when actually all it's about is taking away rights from half the American population. And are you a religious zealot or not?
Making something that is already incredibly emotional and traumatic even more traumatic, because most of these decisions, it's just going to be fear. It's like you get pregnant, even if you want to get pregnant, it's scary. If you miscarry, you could be prosecuted. Like, all this stuff is scary. It just makes having a family, even if you want it, very fucking scary. The same way it's like if you go in and as you and I know, it's like if you go in, you don't know what's going to happen in that hospital, and you don't know if you're covered by your health insurance. Yes. That is like expensive already. You don't know if this guy who's putting a needle in your spine is covered by your insurance, even though the hospital is making you use this guy. Like all these things that you're supposed to like check ahead. It's an impossible trap of keeping you scared and like powerless
and poor. And well, the other, I mean, yeah, you've got personal experience with that, and you know, on such a lightweight form of it, like I signed up for a different healthcare plan, and I didn't know it started there. No one told me it started after they charged me. It like started a week later, and I went and I saw a doctor beforehand, and so now I'm out whatever $400, whatever that visit was, and it's just like, I'm not going to pay it. I'm going to argue, but it's just like little things like that.
It's like that. That's my. It's also like I've argued down bills. Like I argued down a $9,000 bill to $450, and you're just like, because it's all made up. But then that's my time. That took me. It took a week of constant, like just Judaism, just calling and calling and calling and calling and being like, hello, I'm your problem now, and we're in this together, you and me, and I'm our problem,
right?
And we have to solve this. But those hours of time that like I'm a freelancer, that is money. Those are like hours. If I paid myself for it, it would be almost back up to the bill.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. That's the only way to actually get anything or not become bankrupt in our healthcare system. So it's all, and like, I keep having that phrase, abortion is healthcare, just kind of like ringing in my ear, like as I'm sleeping.
It's like the most basic healthcare. It's healthcare when you are literally trying to have a family, and you're like, we have a friend now who just miscarried and had to have a D&E, which is like even later term, and she's so sad. Like she's sad because she lost the baby she wanted. I can't even. And then it's like on top of that, you're gonna get like whether the cops gonna come into the room, and question what you did to like it's already like such a toxic, disgusting. The question alone is so unhealthy.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/bitchuation room. Do